Hey y'all, my name is Jalen and this is Art in Color, a channel where I talk about contemporary artists of color, for the most part. Today we are going to talk about an artist, Anish Kapoor, who has had some trouble being liked by the art world, or maybe the art community. Before we get into it, please subscribe to my channel so you can get notified every single time I post a video. Also, I just want to say before I start this video, while I do enjoy spreading gossip, promulgating drama, disseminating scandal, this is still an educational channel and I will be sticking to the facts and teaching you about art along the way. So here we go, on to the art. Just for some background, Anish Kapoor is an artist who was born in India in 1954. He later moved to London for school where he studied at the Hornsey College of Art and the Chelsea School of Art where he graduated in 1978. Early on, Kapoor used super saturated pigments and really interesting architectural forms which gained him a little bit of notoriety. For example, his work 1000 Names. 1000 Names is a sculptural series he created from 1979 to 1980 consisting of arrangements of abstract geometric forms coated with loose pigments or colors that spilled from the sculptures to the floor or the wall surrounding them. Kapoor gained a lot of attention in the 80s and 90s for his sculptures and installations, which were made with really interesting materials such as stone, aluminum, and resin, and appeared to challenge ideas of gravity, depth, and perception. In 1990, he represented Britain in the Venice Biennale, which is this huge, very important art exhibition that is held in Venice, Italy every 2 years. Just know that basically it's a big deal and very few artists are selected to participate. He showed an installation titled Void Field, which was a grid of sandstone blocks, each with a large black hole on the top of its surface. The immediate next year after the Venice Biennale, he won the Turner Prize, which again, a huge deal. It's a prestigious award for British artists. Another artist who won it was Chris O'Feely, and I actually have another video about him and his Virgin Mary scandals, so you can check that out as well. After the Turner Prize, a little bit of time goes by. At this point, Kapoor is a renowned artist. He's very respected and his sculptures are starting to get very ambitious in terms of scale and material. These works are costing millions of dollars and are larger than life. One good example of this would be his sky mirror, which currently lives at AT&T Stadium in Dallas and was purchased for $13 million. Another example would be his ArcelorMittal Orbit, which was created for the 2012 London Olympics and cost approximately $31 million. Actually though, due to a drop in visitorship after the Olympics, the sculpture was actually converted with the help of another artist, Carsten Huller, to the world's largest and longest slide that visitors can actually go up and slide down. Anyway, Anish Kapoor is basically listed as one of the top 10 richest artists at this time. Now we're up to present day. Now, for the drama and the scandal. It all started in 2014 with the invention of the color Vanta Black. Vanta Black is a pigment coating that was developed by British company Surrey Nanosystems. Objects or materials that are coated with this pigment absorb 99.96% of light, which basically made it, at the time of its invention, the blackest known pigment of all time. You may think, oh, it's some color that's really dark. Cool, I guess. What's the big deal? Here's the big deal. Artists have to work with the pigments that are available to them. I mean, of course, you can mix colors and, do color combos and things like that, but basically you're limited to what has been invented or created in terms of the mixing. So if a color is able to change the human eye's perception of what color is, for artists, that's like kind of iconic. So, like almost everything fun in this sick and capitalistic society, Vanta Black was very expensive and very hard to get a hold of back in 2014 when it first came out. So not a lot of artists were able to access it. Well, here comes Mr. Kapoor. In 2016, Anish Kapoor gets exclusive rights to Vanta Black. You may think, a person can't own a color. Well, they can, and he did, and he does, currently, right now, own Banta Black and its use. But, praise be, here comes the artist Stuart Simple. Stuart Simple is this British artist who works across mediums including sculpture, painting, and digital art. According to his own site, his work focuses on youth politics, accessibility, and democracy. And he believes that art itself should have a social function. Also important to the story is that he runs a website called Culture Hustle, where he creates and sells powders and pigments that artists can use in their work. In 2016, Stuart Simple does a talk at the Denver Art Museum, and he's asked by someone in the audience, "What's your favorite color?" He says, "Banta Black, and I can't use it." The audience member follows up and says,
"What are you going to do about it?"
Simple answers, "I'm going to release the pinkest pink that's ever pinked, but I'm not going to allow Anish Kapoor to use it." December 2016, he does it. He creates the pinkest pink that has ever existed as a pigment. On his website, Culture Hustle, where he sells pinkest pink, which is what he ended up calling the color, he includes the hashtag #ShareTheBlack and also a really hilarious note whenever you purchase the color pinkest pink. The note says, "By adding this product to your cart, you can confirm that you are not Anish Kapoor. You are in no way affiliated to Anish Kapoor. You are not purchasing this item on behalf of Anish Kapoor or an associate of Anish Kapoor. To the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, this paint will not make its way into that hands of Anish Kapoor." Literally, go off, right? Go off. Although Simple was basically just planning to sell one or two of these little pigments because it was just a joke, it was just like a statement, artists really loved it and they started purchasing the pigment and painting with it and creating work with it and sharing it online with the hashtag #ShareTheBlack. So of course, Anish Kapoor hears about it, right? And somebody at his studio in London that represents him gets a hold of the pinkest pink. People still debate, is it because he wanted to use the color, or is it kind of just to show I can have whatever I want, I'm rich, I don't care. We'll never know. What we do know is that Anish Kapoor posted a photo on his Instagram where he has dipped his middle finger in pinkest pink and flips off the camera with the caption, "Up yours, #pink." Artists get mad. They're like, okay, so you get to have your little black is black and we're over here having fun, dancing in the fields, sharing pink, living, laughing, and loving. How come you get the pink? At this point, they realize he's not going to share Banta Black. They're not gonna get the Banta Black, and he's being a poor sport about the whole thing. Not my opinion, just saying what was said. All of these artists who have been witness to this tit for tat and who are rooting Stuart Simple on in his little pink crusade, they say, you know what, Stuart, you should create your own Black is Black. A sort of Banta Black Part 2, Banta Black Return of the Black, Black's Revenge Part 3, you know what I'm saying? So a man for the people, Stuart Simple, decides he's gonna do it. He's gonna create his own Black is Black. Stuart Simple basically took to the internet streets and said that he was going to create his own Black is Black, except his version would be affordable, crowdsourced, and safe, and available for everyone to use, except Anish Kapoor, of course. And for bonus points, Stuart Simple said his would smell like black cherries, which is okay, whatever, but it's actually important because the original Banta Black was highly toxic, smelled bad, potentially explosive, had to be stored and sealed properly, could reach up to 300 degrees, and at the end of the day, it cost thousands of dollars and nobody even wanted it anyway. Ugh. Simple comes up with the color that he ends up calling Black 2.0. And he does this not just by some stroke of genius, but by actually collaborating with artists and chemists from all over the world who both want to use the Black is Black and get Anish Kapoor, if you know what I'm saying. People loved it. You know how orange is the new black? This was basically like black is the new black. And while Anish Kapoor was the only person in the world who could use Band of Black, he was also the only person in the world who could not use Black 2.0, which was like pretty funny. Then came the aftermath. Basically, Kapoor spoke to BuzzFeed at one point and claimed that he was going to sue Stuart Simple. This is kind of a yikes because apparently Stuart Simple doesn't make any profit off of his pigments. He just does it for the love of the color, which I don't know if that's exactly true. Like, don't quote me, but apparently he's just a humble little color making man. He's quoted as saying, "It's about getting the colors out there and making them available." So suing Stuart Simple as Anish Kapoor, one of the richest artists in the entire world, doesn't exactly look amazing. Either way, it's been something like 4+ years and no mention of the lawsuit has come up, so more likely than not, it's not actually going to happen. Though one unrelated lawsuit that Kapoor did carry through, which was pretty interesting, was one against the NRA, or the National Rifle Association. Which, if you're not from the US, the NRA is basically just this organization or group that advocates for gun rights, or I guess the use of guns, and they sometimes harass people who have been directly affected by gun violence, including the parents of children who have been killed in school shootings. So just generally like messy bad vibes over there, like no thank you. Anyway, so the NRA put out this video advocating for gun rights in 2018, right after this big Florida shooting, and included an image of Anish Kapoor's Cloud Gate, which is this big sculpture in Chicago, Illinois, which you may know of his, and he sued them for the image use, and he won. So that was actually like pretty cool, but I digress. Back to Simple. As of right now, he continues to make really fabulous pigments and sell them on Culture Hustle, and only Anish Kapoor cannot use them, all of them, and I think that is really petty and really interesting. These colors include Black 3.0, which is even darker than Black 2.0, and Diamond Dust, which is this glitter that is made of flash shards, which some people have interpreted as sort of like a clap back to Anish Kapoor's middle finger pose, like, put your finger in this Anish Kapoor and see what happens. You'll be cut up because it's glass. You know. Also on the culturehustle.com website where these pigments are being sold, the mission statement basically says, rather than hoard these amazing creations to use all for himself so that he and he alone could wield the power of the coloriest colors, Stuart Simple made culturehustle.com to share these potent concoctions of his with all artists, parentheses except one, his arch nemesis Kapoor the color hoarder, in parentheses. Additionally, people have been organizing events around Cloudgate, which I just mentioned, that sculpture in Chicago, Illinois. All of these events make a point to call the sculpture by its cultural nickname, the Bean, because apparently Anish Kapoor at one point hated that name and called it completely stupid. For example, there was paint the bean pinkest pink, give the bean a blanket because it's so cold, and so on and so forth. Stuart Simple even organized one of his very own for Anish Kapoor's 64th birthday, which was pretty funny. He named the event Kiss the Bean for Anish's birthday and instructed everyone to wear their pinkest lipstick to kiss the bean while advertising his pigment Pinkest Pink. Along with these, he included a bunch of websites where articles were written about the actions that Anish Kapoor did. Again, Anish Kapoor was not invited, and Simple included a note at the bottom of the invitation saying, if you are Anish Kapoor, if you know Anish Kapoor, if you want to bring Anish Kapoor, do not. Anyway, we're at the end of the video. Anish Kapoor is doing just fine. His sculptures continue to be renowned all over the world. I'll of course include some links in the description below about art of his that you may not know about, as well as just some information about this whole situation. It'll be really cool. The question of the day is, do you have a favorite sculptor? Please leave your answers below and we can talk about it and learn about new people and new artists from each other in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, give it a hate thumbs up, like really stick it to the man, both thumbs. And if you learned something new, share it with a friend. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.